This is the safest doomsday shelter. Men spent millions of dollars to hollow out the backyard and then used 2 giant alloy pipes and thousands of tons of concrete to build it. The ingenious design hidden deep underground is equipped with vertical elevators and spacious living space inside. It's also enough to accommodate a family. Jerry from Florida recently suddenly wanted to build a doomsday shelter underground in his home, so that when the war came, it can also give his family a place to live. In order to realize this crazy idea, he ordered 2 giant alloy pipes and planned to adopt a design similar to the cold movement and permanently bury them deep underground, so that the circular structure can also share the long-term extrusion of the soil. And the location is of course in his own backyard. But this is a hard soil. Manpower alone is obviously not enough. At this time, Jerry had to spend a high price to shake large machinery to help dig. The original plan was to dig down 10 meters deep, but the seepage of groundwater was considered on the way. So when it was about 7 or 8 meters, which was enough to accommodate the bunker, Jerry changed the previous plan and began to weld the pipeline interface instead. After all, in order to save costs, the pipeline was divided into 2 sections and processed separately. In order to pursue perfection as much as possible, he also bought a more efficient laser machine. Next, it can be transferred into a deep pit with a crane, which costs nearly $2,000 a day. Although the price is expensive, the efficiency of value for money is very high. When the interface between the 2 pipes is aligned and then screwed through it and tightened the gong mother, Dibal finally made important progress. Jerry also planned the future layout inside. The oversized space can easily create a bedroom, kitchen and toilet just by adding some structures. However, when it was time to build Dibal Import and Export, Jerry came to the factory to purchase a batch of steel, considering his wife who was paralyzed in a wheelchair. It was decided to weld an elevator table according to the size. Although this delayed the entire construction period and increased a lot of labor and material costs. After all, the original intention of building this Dibal was to provide geckos for the family. Because of the high labor cost of this process, he decided to make it himself. Although there were many episodes during this period, they couldn't stop him from holding it firmly. After 2 days of day and night, Quietly 2 lifted the shaft slowly with the crane the next day. Everything is going on in an orderly way. Before formally burying the Emperor's treasure, it is necessary to ensure the overall sealing of the shelter. First, it is tightly sealed with steel plates. There may be loopholes in welding contacts like this. It will cause the penetration of air and electronic signals in the future, and the later maintenance will be extremely difficult, so this work should be careful enough. Then, after all the bare seams are treated with deucing coating, you can use force to clear oil to cover the outside. This 10-point viscous and unpleasant material is made of epoxy grease and enzyme glue oil. Not only can it effectively prevent metal corrosion, but it also has good adhesion and is extremely wear resistant. You only need to apply a layer evenly and wait for it to dry, and then use a sealing ring to reinforce the joint. The entire process is perfectly completed. It happens to be raining at this time. There is a light rain, which can be a good test of the results. After the sewer system was buried the next day, the summit day was ushered in, and the land that has been deposited for a long time was not simply backfilled. The soft sand should not only be mixed with history, but also go to the navigation room over and over again, and every time it reaches a certain height, a layer of waterproof material should be placed on it to prevent the gaps between histories from causing rainwater accumulation. During this period, the soil should be continuously watered. In this way, the sand and soil are closer. After the inlet and outlet on the other side are installed, you can continue to use the sand and soil to fill it. After a week passed, the floor of the shelter was finally leveled. As long as a layer of turf was laid on it, the backyard could be restored to its original state. Pushing open the heavy wooden door, no one would have imagined that there was a cave beneath it. Now that the exterior of the Imperial treasure was not basically completed, it was time to move inside and build it, and return to the shelter again. Because the circular structure can't be used normally, it is necessary to level the ground first, and then weld the platform at the bottom. The extension spans 15 meters long, 4 meters wide and 2.5 meters high, offering ample space for future living areas with storage space beneath the floor. Although slightly different from the original concept, the result was satisfactory. Jerry closely tracked expenses and found the escalating costs daunting, especially the costly elevators. In order to save as little money as possible, he had to escape a second-hand elevator from the market. Although the appearance looked a little damaged, the low price was definitely worth the money. He only needed to make a simple modification of chi, and then he could put it into the shelter. But before that, the bottom needed to be hardened with fiber reinforcement and concrete. If you can completely find the bottom red, you should make the bottom like this at the four corners of the tree neck and install it in turn. Next, you only need to wait for the concrete to dry, and then you can use it as a drag and fix bracket. It's really going to start working perfectly down there. After a lot of planning and renovation work, the elevator was finally installed in the elevator police. The whole process was provided with kinetic energy by hydraulic pump and battery, and it was equipped with a spare power system. Moreover, the barrier-free design also allows the wife to enter and leave the bunker freely. The space inside is larger than she imagined, and the spacious space is enough to accumulate a lot of materials. It can completely accommodate a family living in it. Jerry shared his plan with his wife. The location close to the interior can be used as a bedroom, while the living room, kitchen and bathroom can be separated by several walls. As for the later decoration details, he plans to leave them to his wife for selection. Of course, for an underground shelter, electricity is often the most important part, and before solving this trouble, Jerry used a large number of hollow steel pipes to support and reinforce the inner wall. After all, although the hollow structure has a large space, it is afraid of being deformed by the surrounding extrusion. If you want to repair the inner wall, you may pay a lot of price. Then, several walls are installed together. After the frame is installed, the control panel and the inverter can be installed. Batteries and other equipment, while the lines are hung in the bottom space with wire pipes through reserved holes. There is no clutter in the reasonable layout. It is obvious that Jara has thought carefully about the power system of the shelter. He has not linked the circuit at home, but intends to use solar panels to provide it. At this time, the elevator entrance has not yet been closed. Therefore, he planned to refer to the push-pull structure of the drawer and build a door for the wellhead. He only needed to inlay the solar panel in to complete the coverage of the entrance, which could also solve the problem of plate placement. After completion, the entire entrance is covered with bulletproof glass that can be closed to willingly, which is also reassuring. For the escape hatch on the other side of the shelter, you only need to weld a frame on it and then cover it with the anus. Of course, some necessary disguises are indispensable. After all, if you want to survive safely in the apocalypse. The most important thing was to hide yourself. After nearly 2.5 years of renovation, the entire shelter's living facilities were basically completed. After that, he only needed to improve the interior details little by little, and he could hide inside when the situation was critical.